Hey, hi guys. Good morning. It's the second day at Jodhpur in the La Villa Florence. It's a glorious day. There's bright sunlight. I'm sitting in the garden, which I was looking forward to. Just had breakfast, having a morning cup of tea as well. And, just basking in the glory. It's a glorious day. And I'm also reading this book which I got for this trip. Recently, I bought this book. This book is called Breaking the Mold, and it's been written by Raghuram Rajan and Rohit Lamba. Raghuram Rajan, as you would know, was the governor of the Reserve Bank of India, the RBI, for 3 years. And this book is really insightful so far. So looking forward to the day, and we'll take you there with us. So guys, it's the second day at Jodhpur and we are at the Mehrangarh Fort. We drove over here in our car and there's a huge parking out here. So we have parked our car in this huge parking, and that's a nice thing to have. So let's now go inside and explore the fort. Guys, we are looking at the Mehrangarh Fort in Jodhpur. Now this is a huge fort, apparently spanning over an area of 5 kilometers. And it has walls which are seems like 36 meters high and 21 meters wide to protect this fort. And it's also believed that Shri Karni Mata has her blessings on this fort and protects this fort. This fort is known for its intricate carvings and expansive courtyards inside. There's even a museum apparently inside, and we'll presently go and find out what's there in that museum. Apparently this fort was built in 1459 by the Rajput ruler Rao Jodha, and but most of the structure came from the 17th century with Maharaja Jaswant Singh working on it. So there we are at the Mehrangarh mighty fort. Very excited to be here. So it's a little bit of a trek from the parking. So we are proceeding towards the entrance of this beautiful, magnificent, mighty Mehrangarh Fort. Lots of tourists out here today. It's 10 o'clock in the morning and the parking was almost full of all the cars, of all the tourists. It's a Sunday, so that's why all of the people are coming over here and to witness this beautiful scene. So after the security check over here, we are at the entrance of the Mehrangarh Fort. Let's go inside. So as I was telling you earlier, the Mehrangarh Fort was constructed by the Rajput king Rao Jodha. Apparently he had a fort at Mandore, however that was considered too unsafe. So therefore Rao Jodha shifted his capital to Jodhpur. In fact, he founded Jodhpur and constructed this mighty fort out here to repel the attacks. And all the Rajput rulers ruled over here for more than 500 years. And now, of course, there's an Umaid Bhavan palace also, which was built by the Rajput rulers, and the king of Jodhpur lives there. And so it's a mighty fort out here. You can see the walls. Apparently, the same stone was used on top of which the hillock was made, on top of which this Mehrangarh Fort has been constructed. You get a beautiful view of the entire city of Jodhpur, and it's called the Blue City. You can see the reason. You have a plethora of blue painted houses, and the whole vibe is very nice. There is a guy out here playing this sarangi, and there is an ethereal touch to the way the sarangi produces those sensations when you hear the music. Lovely, isn't it? Lovely to be here at the Mehrangarh Fort. You should come to Jodhpur. That's all I can say. And this is the beautiful view of the old city of Jodhpur, which is surrounded by the walls of the Mehrangarh fort. And apparently the walls span a curve of 9 kilometers. And as you can see, a lot of houses are blue in color. And legend has it that since there's a lot of heat in the summers out here in Jodhpur, the king over here was suggested that we should paint the houses in blue color so that it can repel the heat. So that's why these houses are painted as blue, and it looks beautiful. Tomorrow we're also going to do a heritage walk of the blue city, traversing through the alleys and the bylanes of Jodhpur. The whole atmosphere out here is very ethereal because it takes you to the old days of glory when the Rajput kings used to live here and defend this fort. It's a magnificent place. We keep trekking upstairs into the Mehrangarh fort, and apparently when the king and the queens used to come over here, they used to use a palki to get up and get down. Yeah, it's quite a climb, but I suppose it's worth it. There's some traditional drums and pipes being played out here. And my family friend Manoj is sitting along with these guys at the receiving end of their affection. And apparently there were two entrances into the fort, one for the males via this one, and the other for the females, which is over there. So the males, the entrance was from a gate called the Suraj Pole. Wonderful. And we're now climbing up a fleet of stairs, and it's sort of just giving a glimpse of the intricate carvings, which was a hallmark of the Mehrangarh fort. So here we are at the courtyard of the Mehrangarh fort, and you can see it's a wonderful courtyard. And in this quadrangle upstairs, you see intricate carvings and sitting area. I'll presently tell you what it is all about, but just have a look. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? And apparently this courtyard was used for the coronation of the Rajput kings. So when the coronation used to take place, they used to be seated on these nice little seats out here, and then the so-called Rajyabhishek, or the coronation, used to take place. And all the ladies and the queens, according to the tradition, used to sit in this, behind these windows of the Jhanki Mahal. That's what it is called. And it has a natural air conditioning because of these vents, and it's beautifully designed. Apparently the current king of Jodhpur, King Gaj Singh, was coronated over here when he was just 4 years old in 1952, and he remains the king of Jodhpur till date, and he's 75 years old. Wonderful tradition, glory, and the history. And these are the elephant saddles, which was put on top of the elephants, and then either hunting was done or you used to go to the battles. Yet another saddle. I think once in Jaipur, I've sat atop an elephant along with a mahout. It's quite scary to begin with, but you get used to it. But clearly, the elephants played a very important role in the battles of the kings in India. So here we are entering the Palki Khana, and when the queens used to travel short distances, they used to use palkis. So whenever they used to come out of this Jhanki Mahal, they always used the palkis, which were manually lifted to bring Our Ladyship from one place to the other. So this is a covered palki used by the queens. And then there were the open palkis, which were used by the kings. And there are various kinds of palkis. They look very splendid and very luxurious as well. And I'm given to understand that around 6 to 10 people used to manually lift these palkis, hoist them, and then take them forward. Must have been quite tough for all those folks who used to carry these palkis. But those were the days. They were the kings, and then they were the plebeians. I suppose the situation is not entirely different even in the 21st century. And this is a small size palki with sliding door used especially during the weddings of the queens. And small in size because, well, during those days the child marriage was in vogue, and therefore the palkis were small for evident reasons. So here is a sort of a hookah, and apparently the kings of Jodhpur were very fond of opium, afim. So what they used to do was they used to crush the afim. As you see, there is a crusher out here, and then they used to once it was crushed, it used to be filtered in this pouch out here. And legend has it that Lord Shiva was very fond of opium and afim. So they used to make an offering first to Lord Shiva on this shivling out here, and then they used to enjoy life with their hookah, going into the trance world. Well, again, things are not entirely different even today, are they? And now we are proceeding towards the Daulat Khana. As the name indicates, this room, the massive room, was used to store the treasures of the Rajput kings. So it effectively served as a treasury. We'll presently go inside and find out what are the remainings of the Daulat Khana. And this is a magnificent palki. Looks almost to be made of gold. Perhaps it was during the olden days. And apparently in 1730, King Abhay Singh of Jodhpur attacked Ahmedabad and won that battle, and brought a lot of stuff from Ahmedabad. Must be diamonds and gold, and including this palki, and everything was brought over here in this palki. Wonderful history. The palki sits still inside this Daulat Khana, reminding us of the old glorious days of the Rajput kings. And this is the toran which is used during the marriages within the Rajputs. Apparently this is put on the door, and when the groom comes, he has to touch this toran 7 times with his sword, the talwar, and then he can claim his bride. And this is a jewelry box of the queens of Jodhpur, made of ivory. And along with this, there are cute little dumbbells out here. Well, not exactly cute. They're not entirely small. They must be quite heavy. Heavy for me. There's another dumbbell out here. And apparently even the queens used to exercise with these dumbbells. So clearly, remaining in shape and remaining fit was a priority even then, even if you were a queen of Jodhpur. And this is the dress of the kings of Jodhpur. Clearly they were mighty and tall and hefty, and they had to be. They didn't have a choice. They had to constantly fight all the battles. And this figurine represents the Gangaur festival, which is typically done by the Rajasthani ladies for the longevity of their husbands in the month of March in Rajasthan. And look at these big guns. And there was no trigger over here. These were muzzle loaded. So one of the guys used to pick up the gun, the other guy used to load the gunpowder, stuff the gunpowder through the muzzles. And then the second guy used to take the aim. But since there was no trigger, the first guy used to light up the gun from front on the muzzle, and then the whole thing used to fire. Wonderful. And the Jodhpur kings were very fond of artwork and paintings. This shows some of the colors that were used for those paintings. Apparently those colors were made from the minerals. So they were natural colors, and they were made of, the minerals were crushed to powders, and then all these colors were formed. And then these beautiful paintings used to be made. And as you can see, there was a lot of emphasis on the face. There were close-ups. The noses were kept pointed, the eyes were kept curved and attractive. And these paintings still exist back from then. With the handsome kings, with their beautiful damsels and the queens. Must have been a good life. And now we're going to visit the Takhat Vilas, then the Phool Mahal, and then the Sheesh Mahal. Looks like there is something wonderful in store for us. And what you're witnessing out here is the Sheesh Mahal made by the kings of Jodhpur. And the kings of India in general were very fascinated by the glasses, which were initially coming from Belgium and China. So naturally the Jodhpur kings were also fascinated by these glass works and the glasses as a concept. And therefore they made the Sheesh Mahal, which was earlier a bedroom and then later on was converted into a meditation room as well. And apparently when you used to light a diya or a lamp in the middle, the whole room used to be wonderfully illuminated. And that was what was fascinating for the kings and queens of Jodhpur at this wonderful Sheesh Mahal. And what you're seeing now is the beautiful Phool Mahal. This was built by King Abhay Singh after he won Ahmedabad. He came back over here and developed this concept. The intricate carvings which are done on the roof of this Phool Mahal and on the walls as well. And they're done in the shape of phool and pattis, flowers and leaves. That's why it's called Phool Mahal. This was really the entertainment room of the Rajput kings. And all the rags and the raginis were performed over here. So as I said, the kings of Jodhpur were not all about wars and plunders and the dominance over their compatriots, but they were very much dedicated to the artwork and music. What we are looking at now is the Takhat Vilas. Unfortunately, you cannot go inside. You can just peep from outside the windows. But looks like a magnificent place. There are lots of glasses out here, imported from China and Belgium apparently. And apparently the story is that the King Man Singh of Jodhpur, did not have a child of his own. So he adopted a child from Gujarat, from one of the same in the dynasty. And later on he succeeded and became King Takhat Singh. That was the name of the adopted child who later on became the king. And King Takhat Singh made this place as his bedroom with all the intricate work, and that's why this is called the beautiful Takhat Vilas. And now we are inside the Jhanki Mahal, from where the Ranis and the queens used to sit at the windows and peep from these small holes outside when the coronation of the king used to take place. Clearly, the queens were shy and they followed the tradition in a way imposed by the Rajput kings. And these are those cradles which were used by the Rajput kings for their children. Looks wonderful. And now we are at this wonderful quadrangle at the Mehrangarh Fort, which is white in color, and there's a reason for it. Apparently the kings and the queens used to play Holi and splash colors and put gulal on each other during the Holi festival. And this is the Moti Mahal, which was used by the Rajput kings as their court. All the nobles used to sit over here advising the king, who used to sit on this throne out here. And why this was called a Moti Mahal? Because apparently they used to light ghee ke diye, lamps fueled by pure ghee. And when they used to be lit up, then the ceiling used to be having those dots of lights which looked like pearls. And that's why this came to be known as the Moti Mahal. Apparently even the queens could attend the court meetings, and that's why you see those jharokas and the windows out there on top. And if the queen had to pass a message to the king in some critical session, then the transgenders were apparently used to pass the messages from the queen sitting on top of those jarokas back to the king sitting on his throne. Lovely days were those. And this is the area where the living rooms of all the queens of the Rajput kings were present. Clearly looks very nice, very artistic. And so that the queens had plenty of water. There was a water tank out here, and it was protected by the walls, mighty walls, so that nobody could poison that tank. Such were the fears of the Rajput kings and queens. Well, heavy lies the head, heavy sleeps the head, which wears the crown. And there's this nice little temple of Nagrecha Mata inside the Mehrangarh fort. Clearly the kings and the queens were extremely devotional and followed the religion. So thank you, Mehrangarh Fort. You were lovely, you were mighty, you were powerful, you had music, you had art, you had paintings, and you had the lovely views of the city surrounded by your walls. Guys, you are now looking at the famous Jaswant Thada, which is hardly 500 meters from the Mehrangarh Fort. And this beautiful monument was constructed by King Sardar Singh in the memory of his father, King Jaswant Singh, in 1899. And this monument, Jaswant Thada, is actually serving as the cremation ground of the Rajput kings. It's beautiful. I'm given to understand it is made up of exquisitely fine sheets of Makrana marble. Makrana is a place in Rajasthan which is very famous for its marble. And that's what Jaswant Thada is made up of. And the sheets are so fine and exquisite that when the sunlight falls upon the walls of the Jaswant Thada, the whole Jaswant Thada illuminates brilliantly because the reflection is magnificent from the sunshine. Fortunately, today is a bright and a sunny day, and we can look at the Jaswant Thada in all its glory. A lot of people out here watching this monument. Truly brilliant. And this is that beautiful lake which is beside the Jaswant Thada. In the background, we can see the mighty walls of the Mehrangarh Fort. Very peaceful, very serene, very calm for both the living and the dead. So after a visit to the mighty Mehrangarh Fort, which is quite a climb up and down, and the visit to Jaswant Thada and battling all the traffic because I'm driving my own car, we're extremely hungry, I'm famished. I could eat a horse right now. So we asked our lovely auto driver to take us to an authentic place out here in Jodhpur for eating dal bati churma. So he brought us straight to the Tisri Sadak, Sardarpura area, to this lovely quaint little restaurant. It's called Bhavani Dal Bati. You get, of course, dal bati, and you get churma laddu, which is wonderful. So again, it doesn't look like a fancy place. It hardly has some sittings, seats inside. And there are already some people over there. It's lunchtime. I hope we get a seat. But the place looks authentic. There are certain videos about this on the YouTube as well. So that corroborated what our auto driver suggested. So I'm looking forward to it. Now, once again, I've been brought up in Ajmer and Jaipur, and I've had plenty of dal bati. So let's see if this Bhavani Dal Bati from Jodhpur can hold up to its promise of being one of the most authentic restaurants where they'll make you eat out of their hands the dal bati and churma. Let's go. So that's what our dal bati churma looks like. Mercifully, they have minced the bati so you don't have to break into it. And they poured a lot of ghee over here. I just came and I took 2 dollops of ghee. There's lots of dal, there's lots of pyaz, and then we have this churme ka laddu, and this is just appealing so much to me. I think it's going to be a wonderful meal where I'm going to pour this dal into the batis all over and then mix the onions over there and then have it along with this chaach as well. Guys, I'm pouring some dal into my batis and I'm going to use my hands and put some onions and then take the first bite. The pyaz doesn't take, bati is soft. The dal is so flavorful. And then let me take a bite into this churme ka laddu. Looking at this churme ka laddu, I want to sing. Main to hu munda pagal, tu hai meri soni kudiya. Bless. Cheers, guys. So guys, Bhavani Dal Bati is a clear winner. I love it just as much as I love the Dal Batis at Ajmer and Jaipur. The taste was just right. There's a delightful flavor of lesun and pyaj. The churme ka laddu was just like my mom makes. Very homely and yet very professional. Well done, Bhavani Dal Bati. So guys, we are back at the Blue City Mall. You know I use this as a parking hack. But this time I behaved and I realized that there is Mirage Cinemas out here. Mirage Cinemas. So I checked up in bookmyshow.com and found that they have Donkey running. It's around 3 o'clock right now, and I thought that might as well watch a movie so that we can just sprawl our legs on the front row of Mirage Cinemas and watch Donkey and watch Shah Rukh Khan while just lounging around, and then we'll call it a day. Guys, we are back at our home base in this lovely garden of our lovely Villa Florence. There you see the board very proudly over there of the Villa Florence, and it's a beautiful evening. There is also the moon which has come out in this evening, and we have just watched Donkey, and it's a wonderful movie. Kudos to the whole production house and Shah Rukh Khan and Taapsee Pannu and all the actors over there. In fact, I won't give you away the plot, that will be a spoiler, but I'll tell you about one scene from the movie. You know, in that scene, Taapsee Pannu is a protagonist, and she is standing in front of the judge in England, and she begs for asylum. At that point of time, I was so overcome with emotion that tears fell down my eyes, both of them, and I was inconsolable. And I had to take some time to get a huge grip on myself to restore the composure. But here I am, back to the reality now. It's been a wonderful day at Jodhpur. We visited the Mehrangarh Fort. That was quite an exercise, and we went to Jaswantthara. We had Dal Bati Churma. We relaxed for the movie. And here we are back at the home base. Tomorrow is even more exciting. Tomorrow is going to be a heritage walk of the Blue City. It will be a guided tour, and we'll also visit the Umaid Bhavan Palace. So see you tomorrow.